from the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to an episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today I'm very pleased. Joining me, Sam Sammane, joining me from the US. And Sam is a bestseller author. He's a serial entrepreneur and very happy that he's joining me today. Sam, I like to keep it to my guests to introduce themselves. So tell us a little bit about you, what you're currently up to, and then we can start the conversation from there. So the floor is yours.
First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be with you. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. My education, early education, is in applied physics, and I did like a PhD in nanotechnology, which was more about theorem proving symbolic simulation using machine. Today we call that AI somehow. It's a kind of early AI. Today we have the generative AI. Then I went into business. I started several companies. Essentially, it was in the domain of life science. Don't tell me why. It was just business, but it was a very successful business. So we created the first group, a second group. Now soon I'll be announcing my third group of labs. At the same time, I always had a passion for software. So we always built software for labs. More recently, now we are also doing two kind of startup. One is in public relation AI based called Trelexa, and the other one is a consumer branch for first time in my life, which is TSM, which somehow related to large language models and let's call it the reward of using AI to amplify our human intelligence. At the same time, I have a passion for writing books. My first book was nonfiction. It was a bestseller, The Singularity of Hope. And the second book that I was just released and become a quickly bestseller is a novel, is a fiction called The Republic of Mars.
Wow, like really, it's amazing, background and journey, Sam. Out of curiosity, you mentioned multiple things. So fiction, non-fiction books, and then technology. What's the what is like the thing that attracted you to both worlds?
In fact, I will tell you something. I have three girls, so I always define myself first of being an engaged father. I have three beautiful girls. And I always think about their future, how the technology will shape our society and will change our lives. And I want it to happen in a way that improve our quality of life, give us prosperity and give us freedom. And this is the common thing in all what I'm doing. So between life science labs to technology companies, but essentially books is about thinking about the future. So I have nonfiction and fiction. So the nonfiction is very hopeful. This is what I wish to happen. This is how I see things. And the fictional one, in fact, is a little bit dark, is what I wish not to happen. It's the Republic of Mars. I don't want to spoil the story, but it's somehow my fears. And at the same time, my hopes a little bit. And I put some stuff there before it happens. And yesterday it happens. I thought, oh my God, I'm not foreseeing the future, but I wished for something and something is happening. I saw yesterday an impressive peace meeting that I described in my book in a fictional way. And I pronounced a meeting in Riyadh between Saudi Arabia and US, and I put other countries, China and Russia, and I called that the golden path, and that will happen, and it changed the humanity face. Uh, I wrote that 2 years ago. I published it 2 months ago. So I was surprised that it happened. I wish really this is the great thing for humanity, and wish that to be a start, new beginning for our human race, but especially the Middle East. We are done with war and terrible stuff.
Absolutely. And by the way, the time we're recording, this episode, I'm transparent with my audience. So this goes live maybe in 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, so big things are happening. I don't talk politics much on the show, but yeah. So we people here, we are hopeful. that good things are gonna happen, and a lot of good things started to happen also as well. So big investments going both ways, especially on the AI part. Now, Sam, you hold a PhD in nanotechnology, right? And
Uh-huh.
so I'm very curious. Maybe the audience knows me. I'm very curious. So when we talk about nanotechnology, we talk about like, something very sophisticated. So how, and you need to really understand, materials, you need to understand physics, you need to understand a lot of the, these scientific concepts. So how that, influence also your thinking about like AI in practical applications, for example.
No, it's somehow shaped me very early. And when I was young, I had this amazing physics teacher when I was in the high school, and I decided to go and study physics. So when I went to the university, I studied applied physics, and I got a degree from uh, France, Grenoble. It was one of the major physics engineering school, but that was not enough. I thought it's so like somehow general. So I went into computer engineering. At that time, we call it hardware circuit design in France, not computer engineering. And that's really how you build the chip, how you do the computer deeply. I went into nanotechnology, and that means creating nanorobots. But that was late 90s, early 2000. That means it was too early for that. And at that time, my subject or topic was really how we can make computer things, how we can do automatic theorem proving, and we can do verify circuit using symbolic simulation, so sophisticated and mathematical. And I will be honest, at that time, we didn't succeed. It was early time. It was like 25 years ago. Uh, that was early. But we said at that time, we need 20 years. And what's magical, nothing we anticipate will happen, but some other stuff happened, result of that early research. So this early research gave me like a structural way of thinking, and also, I understand a lot the technology. I tell people all the time we have a lot of hype. That doesn't mean that AI is not great technology. It's amazing technology. But always we say done by AI, that's frustrate me and I correct people. No, it's not. It's done by a human using AI tool. This give the machine what it deserve. But hey guys, human is still needed. And I think for a long time. And we are casting an illusion of intelligence sometimes that is over casted, and people think really that the machine is somehow aware. No, it's not. It's streaming its result. Is the same concept of Google search anticipating the next word. But now instead of anticipating a word because of the how big the machine is, how good the algorithms are, it could cast you pages. It can anticipate pages, and that's amazing, of course. But still, the real influence, I understand how these things works. And yes, you will not cheat me. I gave a small story in the beginning of the Singularity of Hope. I said there was a little boy, and he was in the 90s uh, trying to impress his grandma. So I did this software and showed to the grandma and her, listen, the computer is talking to me. It's alive. It's a smart. It's a grandma in the 90s. She said, okay, maybe. I said, this boy is now not a boy anymore. He's a computer scientist, and he's not cheating his grandma. He's cheating the whole world now.
It's yeah, I like it. Um, just for me also, when I was I think 7 8 years old. So we used to watch these I think Japanese, they call them anime, we call them here cartoons, right? So and always they used to show the robot, which is very smart, and you talk to it and you can ask it any question, it answers you. And it looks like now, you know we are there almost, right? uh, and I'm happy, Sam, because you bring both practical experience plus academic experience. And I'm happy you explained this about the AI, that AI doesn't think by itself, right? So it needs us to give input so it provides output. Yes, it's fascinating. And I think to your point, the algorithms, today, I always tell people like it's, I think, Google, but of course on a steroid, like, right? So you have all the knowledge of the humanity, and it has the algorithm to just grab pieces and then put it together. And all those people, okay, I know it's hard. I don't have a PhD degree, but I understand papers. I find it hard, like Sam, and this is why I was happy. You explain to people this way. I tell them, guys, there's something called the transformer model. Like you take multiple things and then you convert them to something else. So I try to make it simple. Now, back to the point about, AI and the use by us, right? So debate, AI will replace humans, will not replace humans. From your perspective, how you see, a partnership could look like between us and, if I might like little bit also make it loaded question, I know, with what people are talking about now, especially, OpenAI and, the others about AGI. So how do you envision such relationship between humans and this super AI could look
Oh
like?
my God. Uh, I wrote a whole book about it. It's called The Singularity of Hope. So I talk about each of that in a full chapter. And it's amazing how you put everything in one sentence. But let me start by one. And it could
Sure.
be the topics of all the discussion. So, first of all, jobs. I tell people uh, it's not AI that become human-like. It's we humans. We have behaving like machine in the last 50 years. We are asking people to memorize things, to follow orders, to follow SOP, to follow instructions. In fact, that was the problem. Now we have machine that can execute that. All this kind of, let's call it automatic jobs or machine jobs will go back to the machine. And I am hopeful. I tell people we have a chance to gain humanity back. But what's the humanity? What's the difference? I will tell you what's the difference. We human, we learn with love. What does that mean? You have a baby, and by the love of baby and parents, the baby learns. If there is no love, the baby will suffer, and we have a lot of studies about it. But even later in life, if you like something, you learn it quickly. And we struggle to learn something we don't like. That's the truth. Is love, likeness is in the broad meaning is our essential mechanism. But we have other mechanisms. We have what we call intuition. And intuition is a very complicated algorithm because without data, we can judge something is good or bad or right or wrong. And most of the time we are right. Like we call it sometimes educated guess when it's mixed with education. We have also our empathy. We can feel each other without communication sometimes. It happens a lot. Like you see a wonderful announcement, a historical event, and you are in tears without exchanging data. That's amazing. That's the human part. And we have also what we call the soul. And the soul, I defined in my book, is the mind talking to the self. It's something very complicated. Every human being has experienced this situation when your mind is talking to yourself, but it does not mean a lot for a machine. What does that even mean? So to go short, these things mix them with an AI, then that can access all of humanity knowledge in a fraction of a minute. I will not say second, but a fraction of a minute, and give it back to the human. And this is what amplify our intelligence. So talking about jobs, a lot of jobs will disappear, and we have a challenge to replace them by a human job. Imagine the future when you have a human and an army of robots, either digital robot, which is agent, AI bot, whatever you want to call them, or physical robot that listen to you. That's amazing. But we don't want like bad ideas to come and use these robots against us because also it will be awful to have an army of tax collectors instead of having a robot working for humanity and we don't pay taxes. You see, you can have the two visions. So I'm very hopeful about the future. Now you mentioned a lot of other things. Each of them is a question like AGI, like new tech companies, like super intelligence. I think there is a moral issue here. Do we need to create super intelligence? I don't think so. Why we need to do that? It's really a step into, let's call it dangerous territory. We don't know what will happen if we create really super intelligence. And that's intelligence that beyond our imagination. But something else, let's be humble. We don't know how to do it anyway. I hear these people going into arena and forums and discuss, yes, EGA in 2 months. They've been doing that for a year now. I'll have exclusivity for you. They will not do it. and they will package something that is super, let's call it good, generative AI. That means a very good bad AI, and they will call it AGI just to save their face. They cannot do it, not because they are not intelligent enough, because let's be humble, we don't know how that even works. We have no idea yet, not because you have strong machine, very powerful algorithms that are very speedy and cast illusion of intelligence. You mentioned transformers. I tell people generative AI is like linear algebra. It's not smart. We didn't figure anything yet. It's just big and rapid and giving us this illusion. So no, we'll not figure it out. And last thing, I tell people, if you are that obsessed by creating or recreating the human intelligence, do it the right way, which is the biological way, and bring more babies. This is recreating intelligence. We have it already. And make them well educated, make them smart, give them the AI, and you will achieve super intelligence by a new generation of humans, not by a new generation of machine.
This is thought provoking for me, Sam. Honestly, I agree with you on something,
Mhm.
which is if you, I can, I studied, computer engineering as well, and now if someone asks me what is AGI, I said, okay, they will find that multiple definitions online, right? I say,
Mhm.
okay, but how you define that a machine, you measure it as smarter than a human being, you know like, yeah, they make these tests, like, I don't know, right? So they said, like, it can pass the PhD exam and they can pass, I don't know what. I say, so what? Like, because honestly, if these exams are kinds of programs, if instructions, so you if have the power to memorize and analyze and write or type them fast, yeah, I will be myself super intelligence, right? I mean, if
Mhm.
they want to call intelligence as doing something fast and accurately, I think the issue is, in my opinion, my 2 cents. Of course, I'm not the expert at all. I don't claim this, and I told many of my guests and a lot of people I speak. I say I think the biggest challenge for us is defining the word intelligence, because when we were like kids in the school, I would ask you also, like, maybe Sam, you can shed some light. If a kid, for example, used to memorize the multiplication table, oh, he's smart, right? Or he's intelligence. And you find the other guy who was like, oh, he's like, sorry to say, like, he's dumb, right? He can't do anything. You go back in life, you meet these two people or two persons after 20 years, you find you find that the one who was like doing the multiplication table, he's like working as a humble accountant, no offense, of course, like normal career. You see the other guy is a big businessman and entrepreneur. So for me, the word intelligence is kind of debatable. I'm not sure if you agree with me on this or no before I go to the next question.
100%. And somehow you proved my point. I told you, first of all, we are creating machine jobs. So the guy who is memorizing things, I'm sorry, that's useless. It seems impressive because we human, we like knowledge, you know? So when someone is reciting something for us, we are impressed. But the truth, when you mention the other guy who become a businessman, he is using his ultra intelligence, the intuition. His intuition and business go hands in hand. You make decision not based on data because you need to do it quickly, but based on your intuition. You know it's right. You want to prove it's right. It's weird. And I'm not the first one to talk about that. I have this famous Nobel Prize, like let's call it living legend that we still have. Hopefully, he will still live for a longer time. His name is Roger Penrose. And Roger Penrose said it in his book a long time ago. Like, you know, it's right. That happens a lot in mathematics, but you didn't prove it, it's right. And then he will spend hundreds of years, a lot of mathematicians to get the proof. We have stories about that, like Fermat theorem, other stuff. I don't believe Fermat proved this stuff. Never. He said it's right. I proved it one day. And people are struggling for hundreds of years to prove it, and finally they did. So what happens in this process of human intelligence so complicated, and you have a point, we cannot describe it. So how you are going to program it if you cannot even describe it? And I like tests and benchmarks because it's trying to give a number for intelligence. And people ask me sometimes, what's an IQ test? And I used to tell them it's just a number that satisfies a test given by a human trying to give a number, honestly, because it means nothing. You can have a guy who succeeded all these tests, and then he is a machine. He's working in a company as a humble programmer. There is nothing wrong in that, by the way. But you have another guy who will never succeed with high numbers, who uses his intuition to do business, and he is very successful in life. And by the humble definition of intelligence used by families, not used by, let's call it scientists, especially in late life, as you said, oh, he is intelligent. He made a lot of money. Not he is intelligent. He can memorize a lot of numbers, right? So at the end of the day, human intelligence is still a mystery. I like how this generative AI revolution, which I tell people all the time, it's just linear algebra. Stop pretending it's more than that. It's just like matrices multiplication. You have input, output, and in the middle, you are figuring some, let's call it parameters. And that's how they call it. Now, when they tell you about large language models, always there is this number of billion of parameters, right? It's the parameters that will figure the output as an equation of an input. This is linear algebra. This is not intelligence. This is not okay. This machine can guess the solution without knowledge. No, I heard some people who use also misleading terms. I love these terms because they are funny, but it's not related. Like when they tell you machine learning or deep learning, you have the impression it's mimicking our learning. It's not. What they call machine learning, practically, it's linear algebra interpolation. It's guessing the parameters algorithm. We need to guess it, okay? And then have an output that makes sense. Now, what was surprising for all human, honestly, is the scale. When we did that at scale, we had this like illusion of intelligence. And some people said, yeah, it is how we work. This is how the human brain works. I told them, okay, maybe. And here I put a big maybe because I want to be scientist. So I will not tell you no. But honestly, they don't know either. It's just a guess. It's just a name, a label. So good luck with that. It's not how we need to think. I think humans, and I'm not only also the first one to say that, we are a mix of what we know as computing or mathematical computing and quantum computers. We have even some new studies that prove that our cells have a phenomenon, we call it quantum resonance, which somehow, I will not tell you it's proof we are quantum computers. We are not there yet, but it's a hint that it's maybe true. And quantum computers is crazy. We're not going to start to talk about it, but it's not generative AI at all. It's something else, something crazy, where something can be true and false at the same time. When you can do something uh, you think in the real world, or let's call it the big physics, it's impossible. So again, this is, I think, and this is only my humble opinion, we are quantum computers. We didn't figure how our brain works yet. That's so complicated. And I agree with you. We don't know really what's intelligence or human intelligence really mean. Machine intelligence, yes, we have a way to define it very well.
Yeah. So again, to your point, Sam, and again, and I think I get it from you. We are not saying this to underestimate the power of this technology, actually, and I can get it exactly from you, Sam. So what Sam is trying to say, like, we don't need to exaggerate on the words, right? So we don't need to say, oh yeah, yeah, deep, I don't know what, like as you said. So it's just a technology that humans came up with. It comes from mathematics, 100%. So I tell people like generative AI, I say like think about it as like automation on steroids, right? So because I'm big fan of automation. Like I like to automate. When I was like working as system admin, I like to automate things. I was questioning like why you have to do this in 7 8 steps can be done in like 2 or 3. So it's always in my mind. And generative AI is basically actually it's automation. If you think about it, yes, it's like going searching pattern. It does some pattern recognition, and this is where what we call machine learning. So we teach the machine actually how we think, and then the machine tries to imitate what we do, and then we automate the whole process to come up with this. So 100%. Now, but let's come, Sam, to the practical aspects of this, amazing technology, right? Again, we are not like saying it's bad or no. Actually, it's revolutionary. And Sam, he just mentioned this. Now, if I want to look at its practicality from business perspective, uh, like use cases. What are you seeing in that space that really, excites you?
First of all, I agree with you. Automation is the best part of that technology. Interacting with the AI chatbot is good, but not good enough. It's better if it was an automation. And in terms of its coming, let me go back to business. So ourselves, we are enjoying that technology. So we are going to apply it everywhere. Uh, I still think it's in the early days. Like I don't believe we have a full system that you can use AI and forget it. You still need a human in the loop. This is first to supervise somehow. Like people who are using it for content generation will understand what I'm talking about. Like it will be a catastrophe if the AI start hallucinate and instead of generating one article online, it can generate thousands and you have thousands of hallucinations. That's a catastrophe. So I'm not undermining the value of the technology. It's amazing. In fact, we built systems using this technology. In our company, Trenexa, we built a system that will help people generate content, manage client, and also you have a virtual employee that can handle your client, talk with them on the social media, interact, take information, help you convert more client, but also go and do a campaign, reach campaign using AI. And all that is amazing in terms of sales, but also in terms of healthcare. I think using AI for healthcare is amazing. It can help doctors generate more and more data easily, like if they can do, as you mentioned, automation to handle their um, data when they meet patient and how they can find issues using AI. That's also amazing. And it goes on and on. So AI is amazing and it's improving very fast. Sometimes I have difficulty making following up with the news because every week you have something new and sometimes you tell people this is the best AI on the planet, and then in 1 week you are absolute. There is a new one that is beating it. It becomes like a race. So all of that is amazing, and people can use it in a different way. Different way. Now it can amplify our intelligence. So I will go back that it's not the same anymore, and I call it the singularity of hope because when we define the singularity, it's used when machine outsmart us. I tell them, yes, and then what? When the machines outsmart us, we'll have a lot of innovation, a lot of things. I tell them, yes, we'll have that. We'll have a lot of innovation, a lot of improvement every day in our society, but not by the machine outsmarting us, by using the machine to amplify our intelligence. So mixing both. Imagine you mentioned the kid and the businessman uh, kind of intelligence. One is data, the other one is intuition. Mix them both, and you will see miracles. You will see someone who has suddenly all the knowledge, but also how to process the knowledge, because this is what AI is. It's a machine that can process the knowledge, not only give it to you in thousands of pages. No, can give you really a summary. It can give you an analysis for the text that you can make sense of it. So when the machine learns, it gathers data. But when humans use it, it uses wisdom. It's something we define as well in terms that sometimes it's very complicated to explain, but all human understand, like wisdom, hope. This term is very difficult to define for a machine, but every human being can understand that.
Right. Sam, you because you've built multiple ventures, I gotta talk about this collaboration again. Uh, can we see AI as a co-founder in a sense? Uh, I have a very good business skills.
Mhm.
This is my natural skills. Let's call it this way, and then I bring the AI to be my technical co-founder, or vice versa. I'm a
You are giving it too much credit. But let me tell you something. If you bring a human who is master of AI manipulation, this is your technical co-founder, right?
okay.
If you see science fiction, I give that people all the time. So the best example is Gervais in Marvel Universe. You have this Gervais that always assisting Iron Man, and Iron Man is talking
Yes.
with it all the time. And it's so smart, it has all the knowledge. And Iron Man asking this machine to do complicated things sometimes because we know it's just fiction. There is a human mimicking the voice, right? But we are almost there. And this is what we will have. So you will have a better Jarvis. You will not have a partner with you in the company, but you will have the perfect Jarvis. And that's dangerous. Why? That means you will not have a technical co-founder, but the lower level of jobs will disappear. You will have a machine that executes for you, and then you need to judge using your intuition, using your empathy, if it's good or not. And this is what I call human AI augmentation loop. Like the machine gives you something, and then we're using your intuition. You don't need data. You judge it. You say that's good, that's not. That's I like, that's I don't like. You use your empathy and love here. And you give a second round and a third round. And this augmentation, we are building a software now in Theosin. It can measure that, can tell you how good you are using AI. And this equation, how good you are using AI, amplification of your intelligence, if you measure it, you know, am I using it right? Or am I doing what I call brain obesity, which means you are satisfied with the first answer of AI. You don't want to work, give you an article. Okay, let's publish it. It's good enough. Instead of reading it and improve it. And how you improve it? You use the human intelligence. What's the human intelligence? Not knowledge. You can judge is good or not. That's by the way amazing how we can do that. And now some people tell me, but hey, AGI is when this mechanism of human interaction is automated. No, I don't think so. I don't know you know how to do it. And I'm trying, by the way, to make a lot of automation in my company, like the other company that is a business oriented one. We are trying our best, but we're always surprised by hallucination because AI is not aware. It's giving you something sometimes out of proportion. You need you as a human judge it. If you give you a business plan that look amazing, but means, I don't know, 10 times the amount of people that you have, but you as a human, as expert in your domain, you can't say that. The machine know. Now, will it get it better? Yes, you will have a very excellent Jarvis that you can trust, but you will not have another member of the Avengers. You will not have, if you saw the Avengers movie, Vision, like really a human
Yeah.
robot, humanoid robot that is 100% human, which was weird. And they are funny in the science fiction. To describe it, they told, okay, there is magical things called mind stone that give it that intelligence because computer-wise will not figure it out. So again, maybe this mind stone is a quantum computer. Maybe we will figure it out one day, but not now. We are not there yet. And I don't think it's 5, 10 years things. I think it's much more because of how complicated quantum computers are. So no, we'll not have a technical co-founder, but you will have an excellent Jarvis. You will have maybe an assistant that is perfect. I tell people now the age of interns and assistants may be gone. I don't need one. I have
Yeah.
an AI who could be my assistant, but it cannot be my co-founder. And if I trust it too much, I think I will be doomed. I saw that in my engineers who trust AI sometimes too much, and the hallucination of generated code give them in a loop that they cannot handle anymore. Too much wrong things. It seems good, but this is, I cannot handle that. Here you see the magic of a humans. How we do that? We don't have that knowledge. We don't have that data. Still, we can do good and bad. I like it. I don't. We are weird.
Specialized agents, is this like the maybe the next thing? Agent,
Yeah,
you know,
it is. It is. And it's already happening. It's like sometimes we talk about something and it's already happening. So specialized agent, or let's call it in a very different way, narrow AI. Yep. Yes,
yeah,
maybe we can call it that. It's degrading for the machine, but maybe it's the truth. You are
yeah,
narrowing the context of AI usage, so it gives you less errors, hallucinate less. You are controlling it, but narrowing it. And that's, yes, I think that's amazing. That's what's working so far. That's what we do right now. Like we give it really a specialty, a context, a limit, and in this case, it's amazing. It's really what you want. You want a specialized Jarvis, a lot of Jarvis. And
yes,
some people think AGI would be the Jarvis that know it all. Maybe. That's a good definition for the humble AGI, not the real definition, which is supposed to be human-like intelligence, right? So yes, a super agent is achievable. We'll have it, but people will prefer always the narrow intelligence, the specialized agent because it's safe. You have an automation, you have a narrow intelligence, specialized agent, give you the result in a deterministic way, and everyone is happy. So you have the perfect employee. We start by saying, we human, we wanted people to become machine, right? We want the perfect employee that execute orders and never say no, work all the time, never do mistakes, right?
Absolutely.
Specializations is the closest thing we have to that.
Absolutely. Just one thing, which is again, it's my humble, thinking about something you just came out, which is related to hallucination. I always tell people it looks like, and of course, it's like fictionary. When we train these AI models, we train them on the laziness of human beings, which is in our nature. We like to find shortcuts, right? As humans, we always
Yeah.
like we always like to go and find the shortest path for something. To sometimes I just joke with friends. I said, like, like some of these AI tools, it looks like they try to get things shortcut. The problem is we are also lazy because, to your point, like the first let's say piece of content that is generated, but let's say by Chat GPT, I go and publish it, right? Because I'm lazy. So sometimes even like Chat GPT might be lazy. I noticed something now. I think they are doing it in the background. Again, it's a theory, and I'm not like saying this to say like they are bad or good. When first Chat GPT start to come out, after like couple of months, especially where you start to interact with it, and not within the same chat, because I know people will tell me, yeah, you have to open a new chat. Even when you open a new chat, looks like the performance of the model degrades a lot. It becomes dumb. It becomes dumb. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
start to not answer you. It start to try to avoid. And then all of a sudden we see like, hey, let's go from 3 to 3.5 to 4. And then they start to go from 4 point, I don't know, they start these weird namings. And the others did it well. And then, I noticed recently that OpenAI, they stopped changing the versions of the, model. They just have release notes saying, hey, like we just tweaked, for example, for O, and we added this. And even they did something catastrophic and they have to revert it back. Um, so again, this is my point, Sam, which is maybe related to the book about the laziness. What do you think about us being lazy and want to
First of
rely
all,
too much on
yes,
technology?
we are lazy, but that's also a mechanism we have. We call it minimum action. Because I studied physics, I know that mechanism is amazing. It's using the minimum energy of time and time to do a task, and this is like part of our way we think. And it's not how AI thinks, okay? Because this is how we think, right? Some intelligent people implemented that. Yes, it's true. And you mentioned a lot of things. It's amazing. You always put a lot of questions on the question, but I will start by the hallucination. So hallucination, let's go back to the mathematical model. You have input, have output, and between them, you are guessing parameters. So sometimes you have enough parameters, sometimes you don't. When you have, when you don't have enough parameters, you have bad output and you see it, or when you see the models giving you bad result, right? But what happens if you have enough parameters or you have too much parameters? That's the hallucination. That's when the machine doesn't know anymore what to do. It has too much parameters, so it can synthesize data beyond what it has, because it's giving you data that it has in the training. It's not immediate data, it's transformed, it's in the transformers, it's a new way of representing data. But still, it has too much because it has too much parameters comparing to the problem. So this is explanation what hallucination is. It's in fact over representation, too much parameters for the same problem. And I give sometimes basic example for high schooler. It's when you have an equation of two unknown, but one equation. And then in this case, you have too much solutions. So what are you going to give people? Which one? It becomes hallucination, becomes overthink. Now you mentioned something in the beginning of the AI, and that's, by the way, it's a real thing. It was when you told me the AI become lazy, stop answering me. But I will tell you, that was the beginning of the magician giving away his tricks, because they are not telling you we programmed the machine to do that, but they did. Once you interact too much, you are consuming their machine. So they put a program to stop you doing this by stop giving you data. It's not the machine that is tired or lazy. It's their algorithm. Hey man, stop. We are paying money to run that machine. So now it become boring. Go away. Come back tomorrow. We'll give you more. And it's true, this is what they are doing. And it was a big scandal recently. You talked about it yourself, but rolling back an improvement. They made an improvement to cheer people up. AI started giving us too much compliment and supporting bad ideas. People figure it out and they told them, hey, what did you do? Now, even if I give the AI bad idea, it tells me, oh, it's a great idea. And they said, yes, we'll roll it back. That's only 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And they did. So somehow they are admitting they are manipulating us. They are manipulating the user by casting intelligence and playing with you. So what? The cheerful one is just an experienced one drunk? No. People guessed out that what did you do? You make it like give us good feelings, right? But it's too much. It's become annoying. It become wrong. So they roll it back. Now we got back to things. When you have too much models, I will tell you why. Because they didn't figure it out. They are trying to improve their algorithms, and then something else happens. And if you are a computer engineer, you know what I'm talking about. You improve something and something goes wrong. So instead of figuring it out, which is so complex for them, they start naming them different models. So you have O4, it's great in math, but it's not good in writing. You have a G4.5, it's good in this. 4O generate images, but it cannot think. So they start putting it on you, the human. Okay, we give different models, and you guess do whatever you want with them. Because we as engineers, it's too complex for us to do AGI. We cannot do it, or the super agent if you want. So instead of this, we put it on the human. You choose whatever model you want according to your intuition. We don't call it this way, of course. We give it to you, and you will use. And I know people who will tell me, yes, for writing, I use the 4.5, but they will name soon 4.1, I think. You are right about the funny names. I don't know there is no logic, you know. And O3 is good in big data or reasoning. O4 is good in math, you know. And sometimes O3, I don't know if you saw that, it gives you a lot of tables. You don't ask it, but it gives you tables, you know. The other one, it will never give you table, even if you ask it very closely, please put that in the table. Then it gives you bad table just to frustrate you. So going back to the early AI, yes, after 50 messages, I had the number, it become awful, become stupid, start giving you result. Not because really it's tired, it's a machine, but because the people behind it, they don't want to spend more money. You are costing them a lot. Remember the early AI, it was free, by the way. Now we are paying 20 and they are also $200 a month
Yeah.
and become arrogant. You know, sometimes I'm challenging these new models with things that I know is wrong, and but I know data on the internet is not available. So I ask them some tough questions, and they are arrogant. They tell you, no, you are wrong. Oh my God. So they didn't just cast us an illusion and they are lying to us, the big tech, but they are also creating arrogant machine. And don't tell me they cannot do it. I did a small test. I can tell you about it. Try to tell, especially OpenAI, give me a joke about a man. It will give you. Tell them, okay, give me a joke about a woman. Tell you it's not appropriate, really. No, someone programmed it this way. Censorship is programmed into the machine. It's not really intelligence, man. They are playing with us. And it's not the first time, right? People on social media experience that.
Oh
Once
yeah.
they see interaction, they give you more. So is there a human giving you more? No. It's an AI tool that figures out what we do, and to amplify interaction, it gives you more or less, manipulating your emotions. The same with ChatGPT, unfortunately.
Yeah. Um, I don't know how we can, you know, do with this manipulation. So, like, are we living in kind of a big lab now, and these companies are
Let,
playing
let's
on
let's
us?
address it. I will tell you. We need to address these people. They are evil, and we need to tell them that. Okay, like this big tech companies, stop manipulating the humans. Tell us the truth. Stop using hype and say AI is doing it. No, it's not AI. It's you. Okay. I like one. I will not name anymore. There is one of the big tech CEO who came and tell you, hey, we are doing it ethically, responsibly. Really? We trust you. You who used to manipulate us in social media for your gain, now we trust you again. Why we need to trust them? So here when come the community role of really putting rules, and we want accountability. We want to see what's the code, you know. So we need to see what's the code because, and we did that in our company. We have developed our own AI model out of a free model. And out of free model, when you develop a model, you see how manipulation they put. A lot of manipulation. They are not realistic. And when you make it no manipulation, it's not fun anymore somehow. People are not engaged. It's a boring machine. That's
Right.
also an issue, you know. So you think the other one is good because it's well done, by the way.
Yeah. Now the question, and you are a serial entrepreneur also, Sam. So in this era, how startups can, I would say, find their ways in all this?
Oh my God, it's a tough domain, especially if you are relying only in technology. I will tell you, the future is very different. We don't need to create only software because this ship has already sailed. Any
Mhm.
software you create today, I will guarantee in 3 to 6 months, using AI, we are going to engineeringly reversing it and create it with a fraction of cost. And we saw it at DeepSeek event. It was a worldwide waking up with
Right.
$6 million. They replicated what OpenAI did with the billion of dollars. And they used the OpenAI tools. So in the beginning, the DeepSeek used to tell you up OpenAI, you know, like they didn't hide it that they used AI tools or to recreate AI tools. And that's amazing. So I advise people to have somehow a physical things, a human component in any startup. Because if you are purely digital, I guarantee to you, someone will copy you within months. And that's a crisis. And I talk about it in my book too. It's the singularity crisis. It's when innovation would be very cheap and very quick. It become a commodity. This is new for us, humanity. We are used to create a technology company and benefiting from it for years before it's got challenged with a new tech. Now that would happen in months, soon in weeks. We are not used to that.
Very
It's,
fast.
it's a very different era. It's the singularity. That's what we call the singularity, is when things happen so fast. Every day you have an innovation, and whatever you do, someone will challenge it. So I'm advising people that will not happen with biology. You need
Mhm.
lifetime in biology. So if your innovation has a life things with it, and using AI, here you have more, let's call it lead time over other competition. So this is my advice. Don't do pure digital things. Mix it always with physical innovation. That will give you some lead. Go back to the real world. Digital will be copied very, very easily. It's a challenging time.
Wow. Another example, if you allow me, Sam, is they made a lot of noise about Manus, uh, and they figured out that it's built. The model is Claude from Anthropic, right? So,
Mhm.
and all what they did is of course, it's not. I'm saying it's easy, but they wrote a lot of automation in the back end, so it looks like it's doing this fantastic stuff. So anyway,
It's
um,
amazing. You know, it's amazing. It's
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 amazing. Yeah. Again, we are not saying this to underestimate or underrate these technologies, but I think people are getting it. Like we need to follow real innovations like the ones that you mentioned, right?
physical one. So manners, for example, it's what I call cursor meet LLM somehow. So
Hmm.
cursor is what? It's generating files and revising them. And it's funny how programmers will create, will make absolute the first job is the programmers. Why? Because they understand it very well. So they are trying to make it more and more automated. So somehow the small guy will go. We know from
Yeah.
code generation that let's call it architect or the smart guy will still be needed to create programs. But the basic programmers that used to create basic stuff, we don't need. We have AI who create it. So Manus is the same thing, but not only creating files like cursor, creating any task, going into the internet. And it's amazing, but at the same time, it shows you how hallucination and automation has a limit. Because once something goes wrong, it goes massively wrong. You cannot like stop it. And I know, although I'll not do promotion, but several, let's call it automation company now, released a new component. If you are familiar with automation, the steps like in Make.com or Zapier, they
Yep.
added a new one called human in the loop. When you verify the output of AI, and it's a real thing. They released it just last week because they said, okay, people are tired of one error, and instead of one article wrong, you have thousands. It start to become, a problem. So Manus is amazing for automation. Let's call it that task. It's like
Yeah.
an expert. An expert will never do a small errors, only big errors, right?
Yeah.
Because he already did all that small stuff.
Abs-
It's only the
I,
new problems that's difficult for him. But anyway,
uh,
it's an amazing software. When you see it working for the first time, you think you have solved the world problem. When they start giving you errors massively, you said, okay, I'm not using it myself. I said, okay, no, it's too dangerous. And I don't mean dangerous, the machine will outsmart us. I mean, it makes so much errors if it goes wrong and you cannot roll it back. And I did that. I used it for a advanced version of it. They gave it to me because also they considered me early technology adapters, so they give me access. And I created a big website with it. And at one time it was a mistake. I couldn't roll it back. What I happened, I restored my website from the backup. It went so wrong with AI, it destroyed the website quickly. One error, and done. So that's also dangerous. Over automation with this AI capacity, and someone in automation yourself, you understand what I mean. One small thing goes wrong, and what are you going to do? That's what we did. We did restore the version of yesterday.
Absolutely. Sam, I really, I enjoyed, the conversation today. Before I let you leave, I know you do like, speaking engagements. Are you coming to the Middle East any soon? This is my first question. If you have
Uh,
some dates, you can share with the audience, and where people can get in touch and learn more, and of course, get the books.
So for the books and my, let's call it activity as an author and speaker, you go to sammane.com, SAMMANE.com. And this is my personal website. I have also social media. You can follow me on all my social media. I produce content all the time. In terms of speaking engagement, I will be in the founder and CXO conferences in Dubai that will happen in December, early December. So I will be the keynote speaker for the founder conference. I will be opening the conference, and I'll be happy to engage with people in person there. In terms of social media, I'm accessible. We have a lot of active channels, from my personal one on TikTok to a Theosem channel on YouTube, and we have all kind of content, from content about my fictions to content about the companies that I have created with my wonderful team.
Great. I will make sure I will put the links in the show notes so people can reach out, and I will be looking forward to see you face to face here in Dubai, Sam, when you are here. I really enjoyed. I promise the audience we're gonna do another episode, like because when I have guests like yourself, I always ask for a second,
Oh my God,
face to.
I'm thankful for that. And we forgot to talk about Mars, my fiction, the Republic of Mars. But anyway, maybe that will be
Yeah, so
another
this will
time.
be I promise this will be part two, and I'm sure like by that time in couple maybe of months we can do another episode, so we can talk about this. As I said, thank you very much, Sam, for being here with me today. And this is for the audience, guys. If you just discovered this podcast by luck, just I need a small favor: subscribe and like and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you are one of the people who keeps coming again and again, thank you very much. Because of your support, the podcast is ranking in the top 200 Apple podcast charts across multiple countries at the same time. So as today, as May 14th, it was in 4 countries: Malta, Jordan, Slovakia, and Azerbaijan. So thank you very much. I'm seeing new countries, so thank you very much. And as I say always, stay tuned for a new episode very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.